What's up, guys? Belligerent here with sort of another Bloodline video. If you're hoping to learn something about the game, then you can probably turn this video off. This isn't my typical kind of informative video that you're probably used to. Now, I would prefer that you hang around with me. Helps the view times, helps the algorithm on YouTube if I'm getting better view times for my videos. But I completely understand if you turn it off, because this video is just like I need to get some stuff off of my chest. I need to just kind of put my thoughts out there, even if I'm just doing it to a microphone and nobody is watching, because it's kind of boring. I may try to overlay this with like some gameplay or something. I don't know. Like, I've tried doing the whole talk while I'm playing thing, and it doesn't work that great because I kind of get lost in thought and the gameplay stops. We'll see. But I want to, so it's March 16th when I'm making this video. My last full Bloodline video was February 3rd. So it's been over a month. Now, I'm sure some of you have noticed that I've tried to kind of stay in the game by putting out the shorts on the videos. Some of you liked some of the shorts that I was putting out and were probably disappointed that I didn't keep going with them, because I was getting some good feedback from them. But honestly, I've just kind of been disconnected from the game. I was going to a dark place with the game. Now, I'm not talking about like the game was putting me in depression into real life or anything. Real life has actually been kind of okay, especially since I left the game. But as far as my relationship with the game, my love for the game, the way I enjoy the game, it was falling off. And I was going to a not very happy place in that. Until I stepped away. And I see that after I stepped away, at least from my brief browsing of Discord and other various channels, that some other people may be choosing to step away. I don't know. Now, don't mistake me pointing that out to say I think I led some kind of exodus or something. I don't think anybody left because I left. I'm not saying that. I'm just noticing that now that I'm starting to pay more attention to kind of the goings on with Bloodline again and the community. I just noticed that some people have left. Unfortunately, some people have left off of my Discord too. We still have a good number of people there. It's still, fairly active. But there are some names there that are definitely missed, some personalities that I enjoyed. I think there's a lot of negativity going around the game, and I just kind of want to talk about it. So this is going to be kind of more along the lines of, I guess, a podcast in nature than really anything informative. So if you're into that thing, let's rock it. If not, I understand. And if I make some more videos, hopefully they'll be useful to you, and we'll see you on the flip side. Hopefully everybody's still with me. So let's just kind of, I was watching a recent video from Neon. Yeah, Neon's really the only content creator that I actually do watch. That's not to say anything bad about the other content creators. I know that I've said this, I think I'm almost positive I've said this publicly before. But if not, I guess I'm saying it now for the first time. I just don't watch the other content creators, and it's not like an ego thing. It's not because I don't think they're good. It's none of that. It's that I feel like it affects my work. Like, I see what they're putting out, and then I'm trying to compete with that instead of just being me. And frankly, the videos that I make the videos that I've made in the past. Dare I say, the reason that you are watching the video, listening to the video now, or the reason that you subscribed, if you're subscribed. If you're not, hit the subscribe button, please. But the reason that you're subscribed to me and the reason you're watching my videos is because my videos are me, and I approach things the way I approach them, and I put out the content that interests me instead of trying to compete with other content creators. And in order for me to do that, I kind of have to ignore the other content creators. Again, that's not saying anything bad about them. I hope that you guys support other content creators if they meet your needs. That being said, like Neon is always like her videos I've enjoyed. For me, like she's easy to listen to. I really enjoy her dry humor, or at least what I perceive as the dry humor. It may just be more of a her stating things in a matter of fact manner, but to me it feels like dry humor. Like I enjoy that. So she's the one. She's really the only one that I watch. Check her out if you haven't. But she was kind of going through the list of almost mistakes that Goat Games has made. And I'm not here to like rip off her video, but I'm going to reflect on some of the things she was talking about. I don't want to do it to any great detail though. Like in my head, I was going to talk about them in depth. I really don't want to. So, like, I mean, we had some things where when things started going downhill, like first it was Devala, right? They released this broken champion, no testing, and like everybody that doesn't have her hates it and all of that. But now, like, everybody has her. They just re-released the event. As far as I know, I wasn't paying attention because I already had Devala and the companion and all of that stuff. But as far as I know, there wasn't really any shenanigans that happened. It kind of just went off as planned. There were no really switcheroos that went on like they kind of did with us with Orost, or with the cows in Gultung. I don't even Orost, oh, however I just call them cows. You guys know who I'm talking about. But there weren't, like, I don't think there were any hiccups with the Devala event. So, everybody had their chance to get her. And if you don't have her, at this point, it's kind of your fault. Although I don't know if there are still new servers they weren't putting them on. But it did kind of start with Devala. But at this point, I don't think you can still put that in the negative column, in my opinion. I think, and if you know me and you've followed me and you've watched my videos, you know as much as I like beating up Goat Games, I also believe in giving them credit where credit's due. And I also know that some of you don't like when I do that, but the reality is they did not nerf the champion, and a lot of people were screaming about how they can't nerf the champion. It's against the law, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if that's true. I'm not a lawyer. Frankly, I don't care. And I've played hundreds of games that had balance adjustments almost on a weekly basis. So I don't know where that falls within the law. I don't care either. So please don't give me a law breakdown in the comments. Like, I really don't care. They didn't do any kind of balance adjustment on Devala, but over time, I feel like they gave us plenty of ways to counter Devala. The problem with Devala is, I mean, frankly, I don't care what anybody says, except for I'm hearing things about the Phoenix, the new Bloodcraft champion. But it'll be a minute before I have any kind of experience with that. Unless anybody wants to loan me their account so I can play around with it, maybe do a video on it. Hey, I'm all ears. But outside of maybe that champion, Zavala is still the best champion in the game. It takes an entire comp to slow her down. Now, can that same comp beat other comps without Zavala? Yes. So is it really that big a deal that you have to build an entire comp around stopping Zavala? Not really. But I don't think that we can still look at Zavala as a problem. I think it was a problem. They fixed the problem. Time to move on. The next problem was Vigor. Now, I don't mind Vigor being a grind. I was on record as saying that when it happened. Like, they saw the problem, they corrected the problem. Yes, some people got ahead. At this point, that's kind of old news. My biggest problem with Vigor is that it just rules the world. It's king. It's the only thing in the game that matters until you reach the top of the mountain. And so, also the marriage grind, so bad. Like, I think somebody showed me a chart. I know it's somewhere around like 1600 level 22 marriages have to happen in order for you to hit 100 vigor, and now they've bumped it up to 120 vigor. And my last video I made was the video on breaking the vigor barrier, where I married a 100 vigor to an 85 vigor champion. And so then they raised the cap after that video came out, and with that adjusted cap, my 100 plus 85 was only 111. So I can't even imagine how many marriages it takes to get to 120. And it's just so boring, and I want to cry every time I think about having to marry a bunch of champions to get vigor. And then they teased us and said they were going to give us quick marriage, and then they came out and said we're a bunch of effing idiots because we're going to charge you a subscription for simple quality of life adjustments that we should have just given you for free because the game sucks and we were really bad at programming quality of life into the game, and we should have just given them to you for free. But instead, we're just gonna keep being greedy and greedy and greedy. And that's my real problem with Vigor, is that the grind sucks. Like, I think Vigor, with as powerful as it is, should be a slow grind. Unfortunately, it being a slow grind makes it massively pay to win, and that's fine. I'm not here to rail against the paywalls, because you can get Vigor without paying. You can run the dungeon and get the bouquets. You can spend your diamonds on resources for Vigor. And frankly, you should, but we're not going to get into that right now. And if you have the money and the budget for your gaming to spend on getting Vigor faster, then you can. My problem is how painful 1600 marriages is. That's really, 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 really painful. That's my problem with Vigor. All right, let's move on. The next problem, and I think kind of the real problem since, has just been the greed. Now, I was talking to some people on my Discord, some really good people, which is why I talk to them, which is why I love my community. And if you're not part of it, the Discord link is in the description of the video. You should really come over and join us. And have you ever kind of deep down known something, but it took someone else telling you what you already knew before, like, you realized it? You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever have somebody say something so simple and so obvious that you were just like, that was really profound. When you know it's kind of not, because you already kind of knew it and it's really kind of common sense. Well, that happened to me today. Or somebody, I asked people, I said, somebody inspire me. Why are you guys still playing this game with all of the nonsense that's going on? And there were a lot of good responses. And one of my favorites was, because the nonsense is just that. It's nonsense. If I feel something is beneficial for me or something I want, then I'll pay for it. If not, I don't feel any pressure to pay for it. I just let it be nonsense. And I kind of already knew that, but that was so profound. And it kind of changed my perspective on the game to where now I'm actually thinking about coming back. And here's why. Let me explain it to you, because maybe you're in the same boat as me. Maybe you're, kind of having the same feelings I'm having right now towards the game. Maybe, just maybe, something I say here will help you. If you think about it, does the pay to win truly matter? Let's assume for a minute matchmaking is working. I'm going to take out guild matchmaking because I've had this conversation with people on my server over and over till I'm blue in the face. I don't really think, I challenge people to come up with a better way to do matchmaking for guild conquest, but that's a whole, like, I'm not going to get into that rant right now. We can have another, if you want to come on the Discord, if you want, I'll put out another podcast type talk about my views on that. I guess, by the way, let me know if this is something that interests you. I really like doing podcast style rambles on subjects, just because I'm a rambler. I like to talk a lot. I don't know that this really appeals to people. I'm kind of making this video more for me to get this stuff off of my chest. But if you're kind of a fan of this type of thing, let me know, because maybe it's something that I can add to the repertoire other than just educational videos. Because I really do like this format. I've just never really found a subject I wanted to kind of dedicate a podcast to. Like, I've done a couple of them in the past and they lasted well, but nothing that really kind of has my interest right now. That being said, does it really matter about the paywalls? Because let's think about it. If we assume matchmaking is working, and in Arena we know it works, it only recommends people, teammates that are your strength. And I know this because one time when I was number 1 and I was looking for number 2 on the list so I could fight them and make them lose points and knock them down further away from me, I could never find it because the guy was running like a 600,000 combat power team and it would never match me with him. So Arena matchmaking works and you get to pick your battle in Arena. I'm fairly certain, I haven't heard any complaining about it. I'm pretty sure VOC matchmaking is pretty good right now. The only complaints I ever hear are in the guild wars, and again, I said that's another conversation. I don't really think that there's anything better they can do. So we'll just leave that one alone. I forgot what I was going to say. No, I'm just kidding. So does it matter about the paywalls? Like, look, if you're, let's say you're new and you're running a 4 million combat power team, and you go to Valley of Conquerors and you get matched up with somewhere between 2 and 6 million combat power teams. You're fighting people on your own level. Does it matter? Like, if it matters to you that you're not at the top of the mountain, then go spend some money, because that's the only way you're catching people that are at the top of the mountain in basically any mobile game on the planet now. I mean, there's a few, like, there's like some MOBAs, there's some like Hearthstone Battlegrounds, some of those like team fight tactics, those kind of auto battlers. Like, There's games out there where there's no kind of paywalls. But when you're in one of these kind of games, we all know there's paywalls. So do the paywalls matter? Because unless you're just paying money to be at the top, you're just getting matched up with other people that are on your level, and it's just as satisfying beating them as it would be if your combat power was 70 million or 70 billion and you were fighting other 70 billion combat power teams. And that's what they feast on, is us wanting to be at the top and forgetting, like it's like chasing it. And their greed only works if you're spending the money. So I think something that I need to realize, and maybe if you're in the same boat as me, you need to realize, is yes, they're being really greedy. And they're making some very bad choices that are putting a bad taste in people's mouths. But you don't have to let it feel that way. I don't have to let it feel that way. Because paying is optional. It's optional. There's people that are still free to play and having a blast. Yeah. There's people that are just dolphins. They spend a little bit here and a little bit there. And they're having a blast. And just ignoring the noise. And ignoring the nonsense. Because that's what it is. It's nonsense. So, I think there's a couple of things that I'm kind of waiting on to see. But I think at this point, I'm fairly confident in saying that I'm going to come back. I'm going to start making videos again. And I'm just going to focus on the fun. I feel, like I said, I kind of went to a dark place with the game. All of my videos in some way, fashion, or form were about how stupid GOAT Games was, how bad the new system was, how broken Devala was. Like, I want to get away from that. I want to get back to the fun. I want to talk champions and comps and traits and builds and basically what it used to be before Devala came out, before Vigor came out. Because there's probably people out there still having fun. And this, frankly, I've tried other games. You've probably seen the videos that I've released on some of the other games. I'm really enjoying Magic War. I'll probably keep playing that on the side. I may even keep making videos of that. I might double up. I'm like, Eternal Evolution is probably the best game out in this genre right now. In my opinion. But at the same time, it's not for me. I kind of still tinker with it, but not really. Ever Legion is interesting as well. That's a pretty good one. So if you're looking for some other games, check some of those out. But I don't think many of you are looking for the other games because when I put out those videos, they don't get very many views. So, but all that being said, like Bloodline, if you remove GOAT Games from the equation, Bloodline is still it's still probably my favorite game to play. Maybe that's laziness. Maybe that's because I'm so familiar with the system. Maybe that's because I've spent so much time in it. Maybe it's because I know the champion so well and I know the game so well and I don't really have the mental energy to go learn another game. I don't know. But I really like Bloodline. I really like the concept, the artwork, the play style, the battles. We need more content. For crying out loud, go steal content from other games. Every one of these gacha games has some kind of tower to go grind out. Give us a tower for some resources. Dungeon Descent sucks. Get rid of it, redo it, something. It's the worst I've ever seen in any of these games. Give us a tower, give us more bosses, give us bosses that aren't just stupid bullet sponges like this dumb Eye of the Abyss that I've kind of been running for your guys' entertainment to some degree, where like you never get to kill them. Give us some bosses we can actually kill. Go games, go play Eternal Evolution and steal some ideas. I don't care if it's a blatant ripoff and you just reskin it. So many games are so far ahead in what they offer, but for me, this game is my favorite because of the characters, because of the artwork, because of the playstyle, because of the abilities. I just want the game to be better. But I'm going to focus on the fun. We're going to focus on some comps. We're going to talk about builds. Like I mentioned, I did some shorts on YouTube that actually got some pretty good response, where I was doing kind of a champion highlight thing. So we might do like a longer video of that, and rather than just a minute, we'll make it a good like 5 to 7 minute video, really kind of talking about the champion, because people seem to like that. I'm sure there's people out there that are like, you know what? Like, I really came here for the Lycan clan. Can we see some Lycan stuff? They may not be the best champions, but they're my favorite champions, and I want to build a comp around them. Maybe people like the dwarfs, and they want to see, some Sallys and some gun dwarves. We'll figure it out. We'll do some stuff. We'll have some fun. That's kind of where that's where I'm leaning right now. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you are still here, if you are still listening 26 minutes and 45 seconds into this video, you are a freaking trooper, and I appreciate you. Like, you guys are the real ones if you're still with me right now. If it's not just me talking to nobody. Even though, like, in general, I'm talking to nobody because I record this and then upload it. But, like, if you really stuck with me through the whole thing, like, you guys are the realest. I appreciate all of you. Drop me some comments. We can chat about this stuff. Like I said, I needed to do this to get this off of my chest. If you got some stuff you want to get off of your chest, feel free to do so. But at the same time, keep in mind, I am actively working to just cut out the negativity towards the game. Yes, I know some things about this suck. Yes, I know Goat Games, the entity, sucks. Not all the people. Some of the people that I get to interact with are really good. The community manager that works with us, content creators, really good. I want to shout out the mods, but they're not really part of Goat Games. Shout out to you mods anyway. I know you're not part of Goat Games, so you're not lumped into the whole Goat Games thing, but I feel like the mods deserve a shout out, even though some of my favorite mods have been chased off because of the nonsense. The mods put up with a lot of BS, including from me, including from some of the other content creators that I've seen. Shout out to the mods, but not all of the GOAT, and we often say the devs, the developers of the game. I don't know that it's them that have the say. If it's like other companies, they're probably somebody in a suit sitting in an office somewhere telling the devs what they need to do with the game, and they don't really have a say because they're getting a paycheck the same way you and I are from our jobs. But if you take out the entity that is Goat Games and you ignore the greed that they're trying, and just pretend it's not there, like, if you don't see value in it, don't spend it. Okay? And let's just enjoy the game again. Anyway, leave your comments below. Like, subscribe, tell a friend. I'm Belligerent. Peace.